Hey, I just wanted to hop on here before you get any further into today's video lesson. I just want to let you know, this lesson and any of the lessons in this new series, I'm calling it something like the Beginner Backbeat series, or Beginner Backbeat Groove series, or something like that. Every video in this series is specifically tailored to beginner drummers, or new-ish drummers, or drummers who really haven't played much. Maybe they've played a little bit, but they've never really studied backbeat grooves. This series is for them. So, or for you, maybe that's you watching. So if you're an advanced or even an intermediate player, this series is probably going to be nothing good for you. I mean, not nothing good for you, but it's probably not what you're looking for. You probably already know all this stuff. So before you, if you're advanced or intermediate, begin spending more time watching this video, you may not need to. You probably don't need to. You probably know all this stuff, so you can skip it. Now, if you're a beginner and you're still watching, hey, I am so happy you're here, and I'm really excited for you to jump into the rest of this lesson. Also, before you go any further, I want you to click the link in the description below. Not for me, but for you. It's a free PDF of the drum charts of each of the grooves that I'm going to be demonstrating in this video. So it doesn't help me out at all. I could care less. It's for you. You need that in order to actually practice these grooves. This lesson is going to be, I think, really helpful for you, but the biggest takeaway, even if you don't watch the rest of this lesson, is that you get that PDF, you download it to your phone or your tablet or your computer, or print it out and throw it up on your music stand, get behind your drum kit and start playing the grooves on that page. If that's all you take away from today, that's what I want for you. Every lesson in this series is going to have a drum chart PDF in the description below, so always grab it. Also, I'm going to include a drum PDF for how to read drumming notation. So if you're completely new, like if this is the first time you're ever picking up a pair of sticks and you just got a drum kit or something like that, or you made a drum kit out of pots and pans, or you're playing a bunch of pillows, or you're using a practice pad, whatever it may be, if you have no idea how to read drum notation, there's a second PDF below for you. Again, neither of those PDFs help me at all. If you click them, it doesn't benefit me, but it does benefit you. And I want to give those two things to you for free. So please click those links before you go any further in this video. All right, that's enough. I think that's everything. If it's not, hopefully I cover it in the rest of this video. I'm just so excited that you're here. Again, if you're advanced or intermediate and you're still watching this, I don't know why, unless you're just enjoying it. Hey, cool, happy you're here. This video is for you newer drummers out there. All right, cool. Let's get started with the lesson. Here we go. Okay, let's dive into today's lesson. Today, we've got another bass and snare variation, focused on 16th notes with our kick drum and maybe even the occasional snare, as I mentioned in a previous lesson. But our right hand now, so far with the 16th note backbeat groove lessons, we've been playing 16th notes on the hi-hat, as well as individual placement with the kick drum. But now our hi-hat hand is going to go back to 8th notes. So you still want to be either counting in your head or out loud 16th notes, 1 E and 2 E and, but your right hand is only playing 8th notes. So it'll be like this: 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and so on. But you are going to play 16th notes. The reason you want to count 16th notes out loud or in your head is because you might have a kick drum on an E or an or an E and or an or whatever you can think of, an E You might have a snare drum a little bit moved. The snare drum typically is still going to be on the backbeat, right? 2 and 4, beats 2 and 4 of these grooves. But occasionally we might nudge something one way or another. Don't worry. In upcoming lessons, we're going to be moving the snare drum all over the place. But this is just that we're building a solid foundation of grooves right now, of what we call the backbeat grooves, which is, you know, some of the most common drum grooves in popular music. So definitely stick with this. And just be patient. We'll get to all the cool, even cooler stuff. I think this stuff is cool, to be honest with you. Okay, so we've got kind of 2 pages more of grooves. So in a moment, we'll get to my demonstration. Hopefully you've got the drum chart PDF so you can follow along. And then I'll pop back in before the end of the lesson. All right, let's get with the demonstration. Okay, there it is. So that's it. If you have any questions, drop a comment below. Happy to help you out there. But yeah, as always, play each one of these grooves doing a couple of things. Start with your right hand on the hi-hat, and then switch to moving the right hand to the ride cymbal. With every one of these grooves, you want to play on the hi-hat and the ride cymbal, regardless of what the official music notation says. The other thing I want you to do is play each one of these grooves just like you've done in all the previous beginner backbeat lessons, where we're playing at a slow, a medium, and a fast tempo. When you're first, as I've mentioned in every one of these lessons so far, when you're first starting out with each one of these grooves, you most likely will have to freestyle it. What I mean by freestyle, piecing it together note by note, not picking a specific speed, not using a metronome. But once you become comfortable, plug that metronome into this groove and play. Challenge yourself. Pick a really slow tempo to where it's like uncomfortable. And at this point, you might be saying, well, why, Nick? Why do you keep suggesting a slow tempo? Slow is boring and it's hard. Well, there's a lot of really cool slow songs. And if drummers don't learn how to play at a slow speed, what if you go to play a song that is slow? Or if you're going to jam with other musicians and they want to play a slow tune or a slow jam, if we're not comfortable at slower speeds, we might sound sloppy, or we just might not be able to do it at all. So that's one of the cool things as to why we should practice this way. And the more tempos you familiarize yourself with, the better your inner clock's going to be, and the more freedom you have on the instrument. So the more of the quote-unquote rules that you learn. What do I mean by rules? Like in this case, rules of learning how to play slow, medium, and fast. Learning how to use the metronome and really working hard at those different tempos is going to give you complete and utter freedom once you've really worked this stuff out. And your future on the drums will just be expressing yourself in the way that you want to express yourself with, which is awesome, which is really awesome. But we can only achieve that if in the early stages of our drumming development, we focus on these quote-unquote rules and structures and things like that. We focus on them, so eventually we're confident enough and educated enough to break them in really beautiful and musical ways. Okay, so enough of me yapping away. Hopefully you like this video. If you did, as I always say, I would be so grateful if you do all the YouTube-y things. Like, hit subscribe, and hit the notification bell, share it with other aspiring drummers. Your support, as I always say, helps this channel grow and find new up-and-coming or just new drummers in general. And I'm just so grateful that you specifically are here watching this lesson, and I really hope it's been helpful for you. There's so much more we can say and do with every one of these grooves, but this is a really nice place to start. And so the most important thing is not watching this video. The most important thing with all of the backbeat beginner lessons we've done so far is you taking that drum chart PDF and getting into your practice room and practicing. Using those PDFs, following along, reading it, memorizing it, getting it in your head, and then just playing at different speeds, connecting them together, jumping from one into the next without big pauses in between. Any and all of that is the goal. That's the purpose. That's the big takeaway from these video lessons. All right, thanks for being here. I hope it was helpful. I can't wait to get to the next groove lesson with you, and I hope you have a very blessed day.